Silence. That's what you'll hear when they realize you're no longer playing their game. I need you to understand something that will shatter everything you believed about power, respect, and control. You've been lied to your entire life. They told you goodness makes you strong. They said kindness earns respect. They promised that being decent gets you ahead. Every single word was poison designed to keep you weak, compliant, and controllable. Today that ends. Your goodness isn't protecting you. It's destroying you from the inside out, piece by piece, until nothing remains but hollow expectations and broken promises. Every act of kindness you perform becomes another chain around your neck. Every favor you grant becomes evidence of your weakness. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you surrender another fragment of your power. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago. He watched noble men fall while cunning ones rose. He witnessed generous leaders betrayed by those they helped. He documented the systematic destruction of good people who refused to see the world as it truly is. A battlefield where survival demands strategy, not sentiment. The shocking truth is this: your goodness is their weapon against you. Right now, someone is using your decency to extract value from your life. Your boss knows you'll stay late without complaint. Your friends know you'll pay when the bill arrives. Your family knows you'll sacrifice your dreams to solve their problems. They've turned your virtue into their advantage and you've been too blind to see it. But not anymore. Drop this in the comments. I reclaim my power. Listen carefully. I'm not asking you to become heartless. I'm teaching you to become strategic. There's a difference between being good and being useful. One creates respect, the other creates exploitation. The first lesson: scarcity breeds value. Abundance breeds contempt. When you're always available, your availability becomes worthless. When you're always generous, your generosity becomes expected. When you're always understanding, your compassion becomes invisible. You've trained everyone around you to take what you give without gratitude, without reciprocity, without thought. Think about the most respected person you know. Are they the ones who say yes to everything? Never. They're selective, deliberate, strategic. Their attention carries weight because they don't scatter it freely. Their help matters because they don't offer it carelessly. Their presence commands respect because it's not guaranteed. You must learn this discipline. Every yes to someone else is a no to yourself. Every favor you grant depletes your resources. Every boundary you fail to set becomes a door for others to walk through whenever they please. Society conditioned you to be a resource for others to consume. They taught you that selflessness equals virtue. But what they didn't tell you is that selfless people don't build empires. They don't command respect. They don't create legacies. They become footnotes in other people's success stories. The second lesson: emotional detachment is your greatest strength. When you care too much about what others think, you give them control over your decisions. When you need their approval, you become their puppet. When you fear their disappointment, you sacrifice your own needs for their comfort. Detachment doesn't mean becoming cold. It means becoming calculating. It means making decisions based on logic, not emotion. Based on outcomes, not feelings. Based on what serves your long-term interests, not what feels comfortable in the moment. Watch how people treat you differently when you stop seeking their approval. Notice how they start pursuing your attention when you stop giving it freely. Observe how your value increases in their eyes when you decrease your availability. This isn't manipulation. This is reality. Humans are wired to pursue what's scarce and dismiss what's abundant. Your constant availability makes you abundant. Your selectivity makes you scarce. Drop this in the comments. I choose strategic detachment. The third lesson: silence is more powerful than words. You talk too much. You explain too much. You justify too much. Every word you speak in defense of your decisions weakens your position. Every explanation you offer gives others ammunition to argue. Every justification signals that your choices need approval. Powerful people don't explain themselves to everyone. They make decisions and move forward. They understand that explaining why you said no is just another way of asking permission to protect your own interests. When someone asks you to do something you don't want to do, you don't owe them a dissertation on your reasoning. No is a complete sentence. Your time is yours to allocate. Your energy is yours to direct. Your resources are yours to protect. But you've been programmed to feel guilty about this basic self-preservation. They've convinced you that protecting your interests makes you selfish, that prioritizing your goals makes you mean, that saying no makes you unreasonable. This programming keeps you weak. It keeps you available. It keeps you useful to others while remaining useless to yourself. The fourth lesson: observe before you act. Before you help someone, ask yourself 3 questions. Will this person appreciate what I'm doing? Will this action align with my goals? Will this decision strengthen or weaken my position? If you can't answer yes to all 3, don't act. Your goodness should serve a purpose beyond making others comfortable. It should build something, create something, move you closer to where you want to be. Most people give indiscriminately. They help anyone who asks. They say yes to every request. They scatter their energy across dozens of meaningless activities and wonder why they never accomplish anything significant. Strategic people concentrate their efforts. They help specific people for specific reasons. They invest in relationships that provide mutual benefit. They understand that their resources are limited, and they allocate them accordingly. This isn't about becoming transactional. It's about becoming intentional. It's about making sure your kindness creates the outcomes you want rather than just making others comfortable. The 5th lesson: your reputation is your weapon. People don't respect what you are. They respect what they perceive you to be. You can be the kindest person in the world, but if others see you as weak, that's how they'll treat you. You can be generous beyond measure, but if others view you as a pushover, that's how they'll approach you. Reputation is built through consistent behavior over time. If you're consistently available, you'll be seen as desperate. If you're consistently accommodating, you'll be seen as spineless. If you're consistently generous, you'll be seen as an endless resource to extract from. But if you're selective with your availability, you'll be seen as valuable. If you're firm with your boundaries, you'll be seen as strong. If you're strategic with your generosity, you'll be seen as powerful. The mask you wear matters more than the face beneath it. This isn't about deception. It's about presentation. It's about controlling how others perceive and interact with you. Drop this in the comments. I control my image. The 6th lesson: everything has a cost. Your time costs you potential. Your energy costs you opportunity. Your resources cost you security. When you give these things away freely, you're not being generous. You're being wasteful. Successful people understand that every decision is an investment. They ask not just whether something is good, but whether it's the best use of their limited resources. They don't help people because it feels nice. They help people because it creates value, builds relationships, or advances their goals. This doesn't make them heartless. It makes them effective. It allows them to help more people in more meaningful ways because they haven't exhausted themselves on trivial requests. You've been operating from scarcity mindset disguised as generosity. You say yes to everything because you're afraid that saying no will make people think less of you. But this fear keeps you trapped in cycles of depletion and resentment. The 7th lesson: results matter more than intentions. The world doesn't care about your good intentions. It cares about what you accomplish. History doesn't remember people who meant well. It remembers people who got things done. You might have the purest heart and the noblest goals, but if your actions don't create the outcomes you want, none of that matters. If your kindness doesn't earn respect, it's not effective kindness. If your generosity doesn't build loyalty, it's not strategic generosity. Sometimes being truly good requires doing things that don't look good in the moment. A parent who disciplines their child isn't being mean. They're preparing that child for reality. A leader who makes tough decisions isn't being cruel. They're protecting their organization's future. Real goodness focuses on long-term positive impact, not short-term comfort. It prioritizes what works over what feels nice. It chooses effective action over popular action. The eighth lesson: survival enables service. You can't help others if you don't help yourself first. You can't lift others up if you're falling down. You can't protect the weak if you remain weak yourself. This is why airplane safety instructions tell you to put on your own oxygen mask before helping others. If you pass out trying to help someone else first, now 2 people need rescuing instead of 1. Your life works the same way. If you exhaust your resources helping others, you become someone who needs help. If you sacrifice your goals for everyone else's comfort, you become unable to achieve anything meaningful. If you give away all your power, you become powerless to create positive change. Building yourself up isn't selfish, it's strategic. It's the only way to become capable of making a real difference in the world. Drop this in the comments. I build myself to build others. Now listen carefully to what comes next, because this will determine whether you continue living as someone else's resource or start living as your own force. Gratitude is temporary. The favors you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. The sacrifices you make will become invisible. The help you provide will transform from gift to expectation to obligation. And when you finally say no, you won't be remembered for the 1,000 times you said yes. You'll be judged for the 1 time you protected yourself. This is human nature. We adapt to good treatment. We take consistency for granted. We remember what's different, not what's predictable. Understanding this doesn't mean you should stop helping people. It means you should be strategic about when, how, and whom you help. Make your assistance count. Make it memorable. Make it serve your larger purpose. The people who appreciate you most are often those you help least frequently. The people who take you for granted are usually those you help most often. This isn't because they're evil. It's because they're human. And humans naturally adjust their expectations based on their experiences. Your goal isn't to be needed by everyone. Your goal is to be respected by those who matter. Your aim isn't to be liked by all. Your aim is to be valued by the right people. Here's the brutal reality they don't want you to know. Nice people don't change the world. Strategic people do. Nice people avoid conflict. Strategic people resolve it. Nice people tell people what they want to hear. Strategic people tell people what they need to hear. Nice people maintain comfort. Strategic people create progress. The world is full of nice people who accomplish nothing. What the world needs is strategic people who get results. People who understand that sometimes being truly good means doing things that don't look good in the moment. People who prioritize outcomes over appearances. People who focus on building something that lasts, rather than just making everyone comfortable right now. Legacy isn't built on being agreeable. It's built on being effective. You won't be remembered for how often you said yes to meaningless requests. You'll be remembered for what you built, what you changed, and what you left behind. The most dangerous trap you can fall into is goodness without strategy. It makes you vulnerable to exploitation. It drains your resources until you have nothing left to give. It creates expectations you can't sustain. And ultimately, it prevents you from creating the positive impact you really want to make. But goodness with strategy becomes a weapon of influence and survival. It becomes a tool for creating real change. It becomes the foundation for a life that actually matters. You now understand the shocking cost of blind goodness. You know why unlimited generosity traps you, why gratitude fades, and why good intentions without strategic action are worthless. More importantly, you know how to transform your goodness from weakness into strength. The question that will determine your future is this: will you let goodness weaken you, or will you master it and turn it into power? You have the knowledge. You understand the game. You see the battlefield clearly now. What you do with this understanding will separate you from the masses who remain trapped in cycles of exploitation and resentment. In a world full of wolves, don't be a sheep. Be a shepherd. Someone who protects through wisdom, strategy, and strength, not through weakness disguised as virtue. Your goodness is not your weakness. When used strategically, it becomes your greatest strength. Drop this final declaration in the comments. I master strategic goodness. If this video challenged how you see yourself, hit like. Subscribe for more truths they don't want you to know. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, the game has already begun. The only question is whether you'll play to win or play to be used.